Captain Juan Park stood at the viewport of the diplomatic vessel Harmony watching the massive Galactic Council station grow larger against the backdrop of distant stars. The station was a marvel of engineering, a spinning wheel nearly 100 kilometers in diameter, home to representatives from the 12 oldest spacefaring civilizations. "Captain, we're receiving docking instructions," Lieutenant Han said from his communications station. Juan nodded, her face carefully neutral despite the excitement churning inside her. After decades of SETI broadcasts and wondering if humanity was alone in the universe, first contact had happened just 3 years ago when an Alteri scout ship detected Earth's quantum communication experiments. Now, humanity was about to formally join galactic society as observers. "Follow their protocols exactly," she ordered. "We don't want to make any mistakes today." The Harmony approached the designated docking bay, maneuvering thrusters firing in precise bursts. Juan knew every eye on the bridge was watching the alien ships nearby, sleek vessels that made their own look like a child's toy by comparison. After docking completed, Juan led the small delegation through the airlock. They were met by Delegate Soren, a tall blue-skinned humanoid whose species had been spacefaring for over 10,000 years. "Welcome to Concordia Station," Soren said through a translation device. "The Council awaits." The humans followed Soren through corridors filled with beings from across the galaxy. Some walked on tentacles, others floated in anti-gravity fields, and still others moved on multiple sets of legs. Despite extensive preparation, seeing so many alien species at once was overwhelming. The council chamber itself was a massive amphitheater. 12 raised platforms held the senior representatives of the founding races. Earth's delegation was directed to a small table at the center. The ceremonial admission was brief. Earth was welcomed as an observer species with limited rights. They could establish a small embassy on the station, engage in basic cultural exchanges, and conduct regulated trade for non-strategic technologies. Later, at the reception, Juan circulated among the alien dignitaries, making careful mental notes of conversations. As chief of the diplomatic mission, her role extended beyond simple representation. She was also Earth's senior intelligence officer. "Your species shows remarkable adaptability," said a reptilian delegate from the Koros Confederation. "Most emergent races take centuries to grasp quantum mechanics." "We're quick learners," Juan replied with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. When she returned to her quarters that night, Juan examined the technical specifications of the starter technology package Earth had been offered. Her military background gave her enough technical knowledge to recognize what was missing. "They're holding back," she told her second-in-command, Officer Minho. "These propulsion systems are at least 3 generations behind what we've seen in their ships." "Protocol says we accept whatever they offer with gratitude," Minho reminded her. "And we will, publicly." Juan pulled up another file on her secure tablet. "But I need you to get close to the Galunian attaché. They seem the most sympathetic to our position." Over the next 3 months, Juan built a network of contacts and information sources. She learned to read between the lines of council politics and became adept at gathering intelligence through seemingly innocent conversations. Her breakthrough came during a technical conference. A junior Alteri engineer, intoxicated on fermented nectar, mentioned containment protocols for emerging militaristic species. Later that night, Juan managed to copy several restricted files from the engineer's unsecured tablet. What she found confirmed her suspicions. Earth was categorized as potentially aggressive based on human history. The Council had a standard policy of technological suppression for such species, keeping them dependent on Council technology for at least a century. Juan encrypted her findings and sent them through a quantum channel to Earth with the highest security clearance. The response came 2 days later. "Continue diplomatic mission as normal." Project Prometheus accelerated to Phase 3. Few people knew about the massive construction facility hidden in the shadow of Jupiter's moon Europa. Fewer still knew that the seemingly primitive humans had salvaged and reverse-engineered technology from a crashed Koros scout ship 50 years before official first contact. The Prometheus wasn't just a warship, it was humanity's insurance policy. As Jawan prepared for another day of smiling diplomacy, she took comfort in knowing that while the Council saw humans as naive newcomers, Earth was preparing for all possibilities. The galaxy believed they were dealing with an inexperienced species taking its first cautious steps into a larger universe. They would learn differently if it ever became necessary. In the darkness beyond Jupiter, the EDS Prometheus took shape, incorporating both human ingenuity and alien technology into something the galaxy had never seen before. Admiral Tahoe Kim sat motionless in his office deep within the Europa Command Center. The holographic display before him showed the devastation at New Horizon, Earth's farthest colony. 3 Mirian warships had appeared without warning, their energy weapons reducing the settlement's defensive shields to nothing in minutes. The colony's distress signal had arrived just 4 hours ago. Current casualty estimates? Tahoe asked, his voice steady despite the anger building inside him. At least 300 dead. Sir, another 1,000 injured. Colonel Nara stood at attention, her face grim. The Mirians withdrew after destroying our communications array and defense systems. Tahoe nodded once. And the Council's response? They've offered to send diplomatic representatives to negotiate with the Mirian Empire, Nara said, not bothering to hide her disgust. They claim military intervention would violate their neutrality protocols, since Earth is only an observer state. Tahoe wasn't surprised. For 6 years, humanity had played the role of the grateful newcomer, while secretly preparing for this exact scenario. The Council races saw humans as primitive, barely worth notice except as potential consumers for their outdated technology. The Mirians, not bound by Council restraint, clearly saw Earth's colonies as easy targets. I received the authorization code from Earth Command 10 minutes ago, Tahoe said, handing Nara a small data chip. Project Prometheus is now active. Nara's eyes widened. It's ready. It's been ready for 18 months. We were hoping we wouldn't need it. Tahoe stood and walked to the viewport, looking out at the icy surface of Europa. Below them, hidden under kilometers of ice and disguised as a mining operation, was humanity's greatest achievement, and its best-kept secret. Within the hour, Tahoe's shuttle approached what appeared to be a standard resource extraction facility in Jupiter's shadow. To any observer, including the Council's monitoring satellites, it was just one of many human industrial outposts mining the asteroid belt and Jupiter's moons. The specialized dampening fields masked all evidence of its true purpose. Inside, the facility was a hive of activity. Engineers and crew members moved with practiced efficiency as the countdown to launch continued. Tahoe made his way to the central control room, where he was greeted by the project's chief engineer. The dampening fields will drop for exactly 4.3 seconds. For a brief moment, the true energy signature of the Prometheus would be visible to any advanced sensors, but only as a momentary blip easily mistaken for routine industrial activity. Transition complete. We are clear of Jupiter's shadow. Tahoe looked at the main view screen showing the gas giant falling behind them. Engage slipped space drive. The stars blurred as the Prometheus accelerated to speeds the Council believed impossible for human ships. In 12 hours, they would reach New Horizon. The Mirians, who had attacked with impunity, believing Earth defenseless without Council protection, were about to learn how dangerous it was to underestimate humanity. Send word to Earth Command, Tahoe said. The Prometheus has launched. Operation Unveiling is underway. As the ship sliced through slit space, Tahoe thought about the coming confrontation. The Council would be shocked, perhaps even frightened, when they discovered what humanity had built in secret. But after today, no one would ever mistake Earth for helpless again. Ambassador Sun Hee Lee stood with perfect posture despite having slept barely 4 hours in the past 3 days. The Emergency Council session had been called to address what they were terming the unfortunate border incident. The Council chamber fell silent. Humanity requests permission to defend our territories using proportional force, Sun-Hee stated calmly. She could see the shock on the faces of the council members, not just at the technology, but at the realization that they had severely underestimated humans. The chamber erupted into chaotic debate. The Alteri chairperson banged a ceremonial staff, trying to restore order. Representatives shouted questions and accusations across the room. How did they develop this technology? This violates the technology distribution accords. The balance of power in that sector will be disrupted. Sun-Hee stood silently at the podium, watching the panic spread. This was precisely the reaction Earth's leadership had anticipated. For 3 years, humanity had played the role assigned to them, the grateful newcomers, accepting whatever outdated technology the Council deigned to share, all while working tirelessly in secret. A Mirian representative approached Sun-Hee, his voice low and threatening. Your species has made a grave mistake. The Empire will not tolerate such provocations. Sun-Hee met his gaze steadily. The Prometheus is currently positioned to intercept the Mirian battle group that is, at this moment, approaching our Theta colony. We prefer peaceful resolution, but we are prepared to demonstrate that attacking human settlements has consequences. On the screen, the Prometheus continued its patrol, its very existence changing the dynamics of galactic politics. In one bold move, humanity had announced that they would not be relegated to the sidelines of galactic affairs. They would not be victims. And in the stunned silence of the council chamber, the message was received clearly. Humanity was not what they had seemed. Captain Hyunwoo Kang stood on the command deck of the Prometheus, his expression calm despite the 17 Mirian warships approaching in attack formation. The massive view screen showed the enemy vessels, angular and predatory, their weapon ports already glowing with charged energy. They're not responding to communications, reported Lieutenant Summon, the communications officer. All channels ignored. Hyunwoo nodded once. As expected. Tactical analysis. Officer Jinwoo tapped at his console. 17 vessels, 3 heavy destroyers, 9 cruisers, 5 support craft. Weapons hot. Their formation suggests they plan to surround and overwhelm us. A small smile touched Hyunwoo's lips. They still think we're using conventional technology. The bridge crew maintained their focus as the enemy ships closed in. Council observers watched from a safe distance, their own vessels keeping station well outside the potential combat zone. Earth had invited them to witness what was about to happen. Shields at full capacity, reported the defensive systems officer. Adaptive resonance fields online. Weapons systems. Quantum targeting matrix is calibrated and ready. All systems show green. Hyunwoo took a deep breath. Begin recording all data for transmission to Council observers. Let's show them exactly what we're capable of. The first Mirian shots came moments later, bright lances of energy streaking across space toward the Prometheus. Incoming fire, announced the tactical officer unnecessarily. Everyone could see it on the main view screen. Hold position. Hyunwoo ordered. Let the shields do their work. The energy beams struck the Prometheus's defensive fields. Instead of the expected explosive impact, the energy seemed to ripple across the shield surface, creating patterns like water disturbed by rain. Power readings on the defensive console actually increased. Adaptive shields functioning at 108% capacity, reported the defense officer with a note of satisfaction. Each hit is strengthening our field integrity. The Mirians, noticing their weapons' failure, intensified their barrage. More energy weapons fired, along with physical projectiles designed to overwhelm shield systems. They're adapting their attack pattern, Jinwoo noted. Bringing all weapons to bear. Hyunwoo nodded. Time to respond. Tactical, implement targeting sequence alpha. Non-lethal protocols. Targeting sequence alpha, responded the weapons officer. Her fingers danced across the control interface. Quantum targeting matrix locked. Dimensionally phased weapons ready. Fire. To an outside observer, what happened next would have seemed impossible. The Prometheus didn't fire conventional weapons. Instead, points on its hull rippled like disturbed water. Nearly invisible beams emanated from these points, each one striking a Mirian vessel with surgical precision. The effect was immediate. On the Mirian destroyer, external lights flickered and died. Its engines sputtered and went dark. One by one, each targeted system on the enemy vessels shut down. Weapons, engines, shields, while life support and artificial gravity remained untouched. How is this possible? One of the Council observers transmitted, breaking communication silence in their shock. Those weapons aren't following normal spacetime rules. Hyunwoo didn't respond to the Council transmission. Status of Mirian vessels. All 17 targets have been neutralized, reported Jinwoo. Weapons and propulsion disabled on all ships. Life support functioning normally. They're dead in space, but their crews are unharmed. Open a channel to the Mirian flagship. The main screen shifted to show the bridge of the lead Mirian vessel. The alien commander's ridged face was contorted with a mixture of rage and disbelief. This is Captain Hyunwoo Kang of the Earth defense ship Prometheus. Hyunwoo said, his voice level. Your vessels have been disabled but not destroyed. We could have annihilated your fleet, but chose not to. Remember that. He cut the transmission and turned to his communications officer. Send the recorded battle data to the Council observers. Make sure they understand that we disabled these ships without causing casualties. Captain, Jinwoo called from his station. I'm detecting Council communications traffic. It's extensive. They're talking about us. I imagine they are. Hyunwoo allowed himself a small smile. An incoming transmission alert sounded. Council observer vessel requesting communication. Captain. On screen. The senior Council military observer appeared, a Koros commander with decades of experience. His usual composure was noticeably absent. Captain Kang, the observer began, your vessel's capabilities exceed anything in our records for human technology. The Council requests information about the weapon systems you just demonstrated. The Prometheus uses technologies developed by Earth scientists. Hyunwoo replied carefully. And I should note that this vessel is merely our prototype, the first of our defensive fleet. The observer's expression couldn't hide his shock at this revelation. The implications were clear. Humanity wasn't just capable of building one advanced warship, they were building a fleet. Stand by to receive surrender transmissions from the Mirian vessels. Hyunwoo told his communications officer after ending the Council transmission. And prepare a full report for Earth Command. I believe our demonstration has made its point. Around them, the disabled Mirian ships drifted helplessly in space, a testament to humanity's hidden strength and remarkable restraint. Chief Diplomat Ji Choi walked slowly through the grand corridors of the Council Hall. The polished stone floors reflected the light from distant stars visible through the crystal ceiling. 2 weeks had passed since the Prometheus had revealed humanity's true capabilities, and today would finalize the changes those events had set in motion. The Council session that morning had been unlike any before. The Mirian representative, once arrogant and dismissive, had formally signed a non-aggression pact with Earth. His hands had trembled slightly as he pressed his seal into the document. Nearby, the Koros and Volution representatives had introduced a motion to grant Earth accelerated full membership in the Council, a process that normally took centuries. Chief Diplomat Choi called a melodic voice. Ji turned to see Ilara, assistant to the Altari Elder, approaching. The Elder requests your presence immediately. Ji nodded and followed Ilara through a series of smaller corridors until they reached the Altari's private chambers. The door slid open silently to reveal a circular room filled with soft blue light. The Altari Elder, Tezin, sat in the center. His translucent skin held the wisdom of over 300 years. Thank you for coming, Tezin said, gesturing to a seat across from him. What Earth has accomplished deserves private acknowledgement beyond the formal proceedings. Ji sat down, maintaining the calm demeanor that had served her through decades of diplomatic service. No, Tezin leaned forward. In our arrogance, We believed technological advancement and age were the measures of civilization. We failed to recognize that adversity breeds innovation at an accelerated rate. He gestured, and a holographic display appeared between them, showing the Prometheus during its battle with the Mirian fleet. Your vessel employs technologies that took the Alteri 3 centuries to develop after we discovered the principles. Yet humanity did it in decades. How? Jihai considered her words carefully. Our history is filled with challenges, wars, disasters, limited resources. We learn to innovate quickly or perish. When we found ourselves alone in a galaxy of ancient civilizations, we applied that same drive. And the deception, presenting yourselves as technologically primitive while building the Prometheus in secret. A precaution, Jai replied. Our history also taught us not to reveal all our capabilities at once. The Council classified Earth as an observer with limited rights, offering us outdated technology, while withholding advances that could have protected our colonies. Tezin was silent for a long moment. The Council will vote tomorrow to grant Earth full membership status. It will pass, unanimously, I believe. And the technology restrictions lifted, though I suspect there are areas where we may find ourselves learning from you rather than the reverse. Later that evening, Jihai stood on the observation deck of Earth's embassy, looking out at the stars. A communication panel chimed, and Admiral Kim's face appeared. The Prometheus has completed its patrol of the border colonies, he reported. No sign of Mirian activity. Their ships have withdrawn to their recognized territory. And the next phase? Jai asked. Construction has begun on the second and third vessels of the fleet. With the technology exchange agreements now in place, we're incorporating some Council advancements while sharing our innovations. Jihai nodded. The Council is still adjusting to the new reality. Several delegates have requested tours of our research facilities. Transparency now serves us better than secrecy, Kim agreed. Though I've noticed the Volusians seem particularly interested in our quantum targeting systems. Keep some mysteries, Jihai said with a small smile. Respect is maintained through both cooperation and capability. 6 months later, the Prometheus docked at the newly constructed Earth station orbiting the Moon. It had become both a symbol and a shield, a reminder to the galaxy that appearances could be deceiving. In the Grand Council chamber, Earth's representatives now sat among the senior members. The path had not been easy, and challenges remained. Some races viewed humanity with newfound respect, others with caution or even fear. But humanity had taken its place among the stars not through conquest, but through the simple, profound message its hidden warship had delivered. Underestimate us at your peril. As Ji looked around the chamber during a vote on interstellar transit regulations, she caught the eye of the Alteri elder. He gave her the subtle gesture that in their culture acknowledged an equal. The galaxy had changed, and humanity had helped change it, not by dominating others, but by refusing to be dominated. The Prometheus had fired only once in battle, but its impact would echo through galactic politics for generations to come.